Fellas, what's going on? Welcome to Tuesday at Two Lines Speedway at Two Line Slot Cars. I hope you're having a great day. Welcome to the live stream. And I probably should mute that. Mute. There you go. So we don't hear that in the background. Lots of people in the chat. I was already there scoping things out. Yeah. So let's do a roll call here real quick. Who we've got? John Tucci is in the house. Slot Car 2021. It's late there, brother. Thanks for joining. Yeah, whenever you need to take off, take off. I appreciate you stopping by. Good to have you. Patrick is in the house. Slot Car 2021. Which shirt are you talking about? The shirt from last night. That's funny. Chris Freder is in the building. Steve Sweeney. I got my first Avant slot. What are the two translucent screws under the case for? I don't have an Avant slot, but Daryl has one, and he let us play with it on the track. It was fantastic. It was the Ford Mirage, I think. Great car. To the point where I'm kind of on the lookout for one, and hope that it performs as well as Daryl's. Let's see here. So Jeff G is in the house. Rob De Leon Slot Car Raceway is in the house. Rob, you have 9 new cars that you're going to unbox. Busted. I got a package today, so we'll open that up here in a little bit. Take a look at it and see what's going on. Excuse me. Greg, you retirees start early. That's right. DNA is in the house. Great coverage from a couple weekends ago, man. Looks like you and Sasha had a good time. It was fun to catch up with all of the content from the USA Nationals. We talked a little bit about it last week, but there's been some great there was a great conversation that Jim Rose released over the last couple days. I think Sunday, and then on my lunch hour today, I watched the part 2 with Rick and Ian. That was really, really good. So if you haven't watched that, check that out. So Greg, Clearwater 124 Raceway, Floyd the Cat hanging out on the track today in Greg's video. Tom, you've got your Polycar 4-lane coming. That's cool. John Tucci, I think I already mentioned you. Thanks for being here. Who else? What else do we have? Let's see here. Curvy. Curvy Road posted a video with the new tech slot box that he's got. That's good to see. I don't have to chip those cars anymore. Makes it pretty convenient. So we had a box arrive today with some completely unnecessary purchases. They're all pretty unnecessary, I think. What's up, John Bacon? Good to have you, brother. Welcome. Let's see. Who else do we have? Yeah, I don't know. Seems like a busy old school F1. Welcome. Glad to have you. Slot Car Dojo. Welcome. Daryl Rogers, Marty is early. That's because everybody keeps giving me a hard time about being late, and I'm not late, except for last night at Raoul's. I was running a little late, and I made him late, I think. Yeah. Who else? John Mark. What's up, brother? Welcome. I almost thought you might show up to run some slot cars tonight while I was online. Hey, Jim. Welcome, Jim Anthony. Uh, George sent me a message earlier and said, "Hey, what's the subject tonight?" And I wanted to act all organized and say, "Oh, we're going to be talking about this, 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 and this." But I was transparent and honest and told George, I have no idea. I'm kind of running blind. But I did get a package at the front porch when I got home from work today, so we'll talk about that. Kind of excited about that. So we'll see. Gary Dunmore's in the house. Oh, anybody else getting an echo? Patrick, are you still getting an echo? I went headphoneless. I'm not getting an echo, but let me make sure that you guys. Hey, Russell. Welcome, man. Hey, John. Yeah, I went a couple minutes early. I just jumped in. I was already talking about. That's awesome. Too funny. But yeah, Russell, glad to have you, man. Hey, Cyberg. What's up? Slot Card Daddy. What's going on? Good to have you guys. I got a few people that I haven't seen in a while. What's up, Steven? Steven, I got some videos or saw some videos. Daryl showed me of your layout, man. We need to get down there, do some racing. I have a gig on Saturday, and I cannot go racing at Bernie's, and I'm disappointed because we're racing F1s. I could try the F1 car out. So I'm a little disappointed. So I saw that you might be there. So have a good time. Revo Sluts, one word. That's right. Yeah, make sure you get that right on the T-shirt. If you missed last night's, hey, Jamie, what's going on, man? The pro. Things went downhill real fast last night for me. Great to see the F1 NSR running on your track. Old school F1. Yeah, I've got a couple of old school scale electrics, but they've got rubber tires, and so they don't. They're mag cars. They perform okay, but they've got a lot of magnet to them. This is the first time I've ever driven like the NSR, Polycar, the high performance stuff, and I will say that this car is a blast. And I followed the rules, John Albright. I put about 125 laps before I moved off of 12 volts. And I found my happy place at 13 volts. 14 volts, it's really quick, and I'm overdriving it a little bit. Just need more laps at 13 volts and get used to it a little bit. Maybe get my controller dialed in a little bit more too. But yeah, really happy with the F1. It's a fun car. It does some nice laps, but I can get a little faster laps at 13 volts than I can 14 volts. Just a little better at driving that. Jamie, coffee. Yeah, don't forget Roast coffee. Right there in the bottom corner. My buddy Trent taking care of us with coffee. If I've sent you coffee and you didn't get it, let me know. We've had a few people where their neighbors are enjoying some great coffee because they got delivered to the wrong place. Next door, maybe. I don't know. Trying to figure out. A few people didn't get coffee, and I was trying to work with Trent to see what happened there. So, but anyway, yeah, we'll give some coffee away. That'll be fun. Johnny Pro, let's go. Puerto Rican slot car. Hey, welcome. Glad to have you. Hopefully you enjoy the conversation tonight. We have some fun. I've got some things to talk about, and I think we'll get there in a minute. So I need to set my track mate timing system party at my track. So, Stephen, it's interesting that you bring that up because I have been actually testing software this week. I pulled an old laptop out of my closet the other night and fired it up. First time in a couple of years. And it's a Windows machine. And I'm a Mac guy, so I really don't love Windows. And there's no software out there outside of Smart Race that runs on any kind of Apple operating system. And so I did some research, and lots of people are using TrackMate. And so I'm thinking about ordering the TrackMate timing piece. But I will tell you, based on using software, I really like Race Coordinator. Not had a conversation with the guy. I've not reached out to him. Well, I guess maybe I did send him an email with some questions, because I noticed that in his YouTube videos he's running Race Coordinator on a Mac, which tells me he's running Parallels or some Windows program. And he says that you can set it up to use a webcam, sort of like what Smart Race is doing for analog mode, using another iPhone or another device. And so I was playing with it, and I could not get it to work. It kept giving me error messages from the webcam. So I'm going to play with it some more, but I'm really leaning towards maybe running Race Coordinator, because Smart Race does not do the type of racing that I want to do. I guess we're used to running a certain way. We don't have enough people that race here to do, like, put people in heats and based on qualifying and things like that. So we basically do round robin, and Smart Race doesn't do round robin type of scoring. So that's why I'm looking at something else. So Steve, interesting to see how your TrackMate timing system install works and goes. But you can use other software with the hardware, I believe. And you might check out Race Coordinator, even though TrackMate is like the standard, and it works great. I just feel like it looks a little aged on the screen. And so I've been doing some other research. LapMaster is what they were using at Electric Dreams. I really like that, but it only seems to work with their hardware. And so you're going to be in $300 or $400 to jump in that. So, Steven, George from Area 51 last week did 2 videos installing his TrackMate timing on his wood track. So I would check out his videos on that if you need some help. Let me catch up. Gosh, guys. I need the step-by-step video. Yeah, that's what George did. So go check it out. Hey, Gladstone, lurking in the background. That's all right. Welcome. Glad to have you. Hey, Lindsay. Hope you're doing well, man. Good to see you here. Let's see. Frankie Tomatoes is in the house. That's awesome. Marty, have you ever thought about doing a show on the class of cars they race? We've talked about classes a lot in my live streams before, but you're saying like do just a standard video of helping people understand classes. I will tell you that that seems like an easy thing of understanding that this is a Formula One car, and this in some tracks qualifies as classics or vintage, the 908s, but it can run in Can-Am. What class do we throw these in? The hypercars, LMP. But Group 5, Group 2, Group C, understanding all those. It sounds simple, but my buddy John Mark, every time I say, hey, they're running this at Cincy Slots, he's like, so what car do I have that runs in that? So the classes can be confusing. So I'll put that on the list of to-do stuff. So Tom, thanks for that. I appreciate Sean Casey, welcome. No echo. Thanks, DNA. Patrick, I hope you were able to figure out the echo. So, who else do we go? Go. I think I just need someone to say, yeah, you good, as I start drilling my track. Yeah, I get it. It's a you start drilling holes in your track, you get a little worried. But it's only a straight piece though, right? You can always do that. Tom, run the F1 tonight. We can do that. I got the track set up. I go Steve. I say I call you Steve in person, but Steven because that's how you've got your handle. So I don't want to confuse people, and I want them to know that that's who I'm talking to. So, Michael, I run 3 classes of F1s on my track. Bernie does too. Bernie runs the Polycars. He runs the NSRs. So maybe only 2, but yeah, was never a fan of F1. Kirby Road, I have to say that I like F1. I like to watch F1 racing. I just think the tech is awesome. But, I used to be a Max fan, but he just wins everything. Nobody else is competitive. And so I kind of hate to see that. That's the one thing that NASCAR does have is every week it could be one of 15 teams that win. So or 15 cars that win. It's pretty good. So, but I am a fan of the slot car. I never really wanted to jump into another class, but that F1 car is fun, and it looks dang good. So you can't go wrong with the Jägermeister, right? Let's see here. Frankie, coffee, please. That's right. Marty Ford, the question is, did it break the 8s? John Albright, it is it is at 8016. 8016. Again, that's at 13 volts. So it definitely can. It has the speed to do it. Probably somebody much better at driving could probably run mid-7s with the car. So that's the question. That's the answer. We'll see how it goes. Question, best brewing method for coffee. I am an espresso guy. I've got an espresso machine, so I don't really mess with lots of other brewing. When I jumped in, and I bought an espresso machine, and that's how I like to do it. There's lots of other ways to brew, but yeah, I'm an espresso guy. Plus, I like milk drinks, so I'm not a hardcore coffee person. I'll just be honest with you. How do I explain this? I don't drink black coffee. I'm not an Americano guy. I'm not a straight. I will drink like a double shot of espresso, just like the heading out the door to go to work. But I really do enjoy milk. I actually am a half and half guy, and I like to steam my milk when I'm drinking it hot. But I'm kind of an iced coffee person during the summer, especially as hot as it is right now. So that doesn't really answer your question. Well, it does. Espresso machine. That's my favorite method. I'm not a drip coffee guy. Espresso is a lot of work, but I like the science of it. And it's like a challenge, getting the grind right and getting the pressure right and the tamp. That's fun for me, which is probably why I enjoy tuning cars right now. But I'm not sure I could tune a car to drive as fast as those guys were driving those Group C cars last weekend. Crazy. At the Nationals. Headed to VIR this weekend for the IMSA race. Nice. Nick, that's cool, man. That should be a fun time. I really do enjoy watching IMSA stuff. Yeah, Gary, thanks for welcoming. That's what we're all about here. Hey, Gene, good to have you. John Mark, thanks, man. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Yeah. So I don't know where we at? We're like 58 people, 21 likes. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. So things that have happened this week. Great conversation last night. It was a lot of fun. On Raul's, had some good laughs. Marty cracks a joke every once in a while, and and we're all off. That was good. Let's see here. Russell uses race coordinator. That's cool. I would really like to play with all of them. A lot of them are like race coordinators free. You can just donate. And so I'm kind of testing that out on the laptop. It's an old laptop, and race coordinator is running just fine on it. So I'm running Windows 8 on that stupid thing, and it's working just fine. So I'll have to ask him about that. Tom, you have one car to start with. Well, at least you got one car. That's all you need. Yes, you are right. I am spoiled by Smart Race. I love the look of Smart Race. It's a modern timing system. Mark has hit a home run with that thing. We've talked about it, bragged him up. Yeah, I am spoiled. But there are some things that it doesn't do. And, it really wasn't made to time analog. So it would be, but he's made it work, and it works pretty well. Josh Reed. Josh, I did get the package from Greg, and that's what we're going to open up here in a second. So good to have you, man. I did send Greg, I was like, the car is smaller than I expected. And then I took another look at it, and I realized that the body is not put together. I was comparing it to the SRC. I was like, they should be pretty close. They're the same scale. But when I'm looking at the box, it looks smaller, and it was just the body that's not put together yet. So it's a white kit. What else do we have? But yes, I did get the package was delivered. 3 bean, I'm using 10.5 volts. Yeah, I don't know how the voltage would translate from track to track. Polycar, the one thing that they did right is the power supply that comes with it is adjustable. Great idea. Especially if you have kids and you need to control it and you're not running digital. You can control the speed a little bit. That's why I've got an adjustable power supply on the analog side. That really is a nice way to go. So I look up specific classes on Google and find cars that raced in classes I never thought they would be eligible. Yeah, I think that like companies are really starting to or trying to release multiple cars in a class so that we can race them, right? I would say that 1/32 scale racing is probably as popular now as it ever has been. And a lot of that has to do with you've got a lot of choices when it comes to classes. You can race GT. You can race Group 2 if you want. You can race Group 5. You can Group C, vintage, Can-Am. You have lots of choices, right? F1, all in 1/32 scale. And then like with, Slot It, they do a nice job. Revo Slot does an awesome job. Usually when they release a car, they, like John Albright said last night, they usually release them in 3 liveries, which I think is great. Anybody who watches Bruce from Cincy Slot, he released a video just before I went live where he got some of the Group 2 cars in, the new, I think they're the new Escorts. And then he got a re-release of the Jägermeister version of the Group 2 for Revo Slot. And so if you're looking for a Group 2, right now is a great time to hit Bruce up at Cincy Slots because he's got some in stock. That's one of my problem is I can't decide which one I want. I like so many of them, and I've missed on a few that were out of stock. So I need to make a decision on which one to get and get one tuned up. I keep waiting for Super Tires to release a tire for it though. So, all right. What else do we have? Dusty could probably get mid-7s out of it. Greg, you're probably right. If a spoon stands up in it, it's ready to drink. Patrick's talking about his coffee. You like it? Strong coffee. Um, that's good. Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't. I can drink it that way, but I enjoy a milk based drink. So I will be racing 132nd at Fast Eddie's in Pinellas, Florida this Saturday, my first time. Tom, that's awesome. Tom, I will. We are hoping to head down to visit aunt and uncle that live in Pinellas County. They live on Vina Del Mar, which is right there near the Don Cesar. But my plan was to meet at Fast Eddie's, and so maybe Tom, we can meet up down there because Greg, we've talked about that would be a good meeting place too. So maybe go get some laps. So we kind of moved this trip around a few times, but we're trying to get down there maybe this fall. I'll take 80. Yeah, it's close, John. It's on the verge. If I put another 100 laps on it tonight, I think I'll get there. Hey Phil, welcome, man. Kahlua and coffee. That's great. Let's see here. Yeah. Greg's in Clearwater. Yeah, we'll plan a meetup if I make it down there. I'll let you know. Hey Billy, welcome. Hi Amanda. Hopefully you guys are doing great. I like the track. It looks fast. The 4-lane, kind of the figure 8 with the high bank on the one end. I like it. Dusty, did Dusty make it in? Hey, welcome, Dust. He's here. So yeah, gosh, it's 24 minutes in. I'm still not to the bottom of the. Michael, in the split the cars in the classes by manufacturer. The Escorts are sweet. De Leon, I agree. If I miss him, hey Jay, welcome Jay Hernandez. Jeremy, good to have you, man. New here. I started following a week ago. Your track is awesome. Thanks. Jay, I have a link in some other videos. If you look at the comments, but I can post it out there. Hang on. I can post it there now. If you like my layout, I have it saved out there so that so people can copy it if they want. Jamie, who's in the chat, Jamie B, gave me the base layout, and then I made some changes to it based on the table, and I've got a support pole that's right kind of in the middle of the track that I had to work around, and so basically took a couple of ideas, the basic shape, and then manipulated some of the turns to make it work. But yeah, I love the layout. We are definitely not in a hurry to change it out anytime soon. So it'll be like this for a while. And I will share that link. So that is a link to my present layout. The only difference in this link and my present layout, actually there is a difference, is I moved the pit entrance into the corner, so you've got to slow down to get into the pits. So that's the only thing different, but the basics are all there. So there you go. Hex Boy, any tracks to race at in Western Michigan? So I don't know where Cloverleaf is. I don't know how close you are to them, but their track is where they host the Michigan 24. That's a great looking track, a wood track. So you might be fairly close to them. I might have to look at where you're at on the map. But I would search for Clover Leaf and see how close you are to them. Let's see. You reminded me that I have to record a video of the new track tomorrow to show people what's different and how to build it. Yeah, Billy. I liked it. I thought it looked great. I'm kind of into 4-lane analog at the moment. I really would like to do something. Um, so, and I already have. I love this layout. I would hate to lose this layout. So, yeah. So let's jump in. I caught up with I think most of the comments. My eyes are dilated, but I think I see my name being mentioned by people. Hello to everyone. I can't say, hey Billy, that's all right. I will have mine here in a couple weeks dilated because we have family history of glaucoma, and my eye doctor is always taking pictures of my retina, and so I'm getting close to that time. Cloverleaf is in Milford, Michigan. Thanks, Phil. It's in German. So the site is in German, but if you use Chrome, you can translate everything to English right in the browser. So you don't have to be able to read German. It's okay, Steve. But that software, it's not a software. It's it's a web-based online planner. It is German. Cloverleaf is east side of state, 2 hours. Okay. DNA. I did a lot of aerial filming of sharks in Australia, Dusty, whales too. That's really cool. Mr. Porsche. We should all hook up at up there next year. Steve, are you talking about the Michigan 24? See, I think the Michigan 24 has the opportunity to be like the Nationals event. They made the Nationals event, the USA Nationals at Electric Dreams, almost a spectator event, and I think that there would be a lot of guys that would be intimidated to go race, but that might go watch. And I think that the Michigan 24 might be the same way. I just don't think they have a lot of room for spectators. Most slot car tracks aren't made for a crowd, so. Which is why, NSR does theirs in these big places where they can set up, these gigantic tracks, and there's room for people to come watch. But yeah, man, I think it would be awesome to do a East Coast, West Coast, Midwest thing, because not everybody can make the trip out to LA to be a part of Electric Dreams and the USA Nationals. But it would be awesome to have like the Midwest Nationals or, whatever you want to call them, where more people might be able to make a road trip to that, like at Indianapolis or Cincinnati or, Kansas City or St. Louis, someplace like that, where, you can reach a lot of people and then have one on the East Coast, somewhere in North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland. I don't know. You'd have to find tracks, or you just go set up one. So that's where it'd be great to have a partner like Polycar or Scalato or one of those that have track, so that you could borrow, that you wouldn't have to buy and build. You could borrow a track, build it, and return it because of the sponsorship. So anyone going to the BRM 24 Hours at Tacoma in November? I don't know anything about it. Hey, Bryce. Oh, nice. Software Royal. That's how I pieced my track together and decided to pull the trigger on Carrera, even though I sounded like a toilet paper brand. Bryce, it's a great program, or it's a great website, and it's really fairly accurate. So, yep, Gary, you're right. Only have one pair. Try to take care of them the best I can. Yeah, Tom, you can just Google Home Racing World has a track index in the forums, so you can go there. And then Raul on Conquest Lair, he has a Google map as well that shows a lot of tracks. So, but Chillicothe Nationals, yeah, I'm not sure how excited people will be to come to Chillicothe, but I actually have a place that we could host something. It would just be building a great layout to race on. The track at Electric Dreams is pretty nice. I really like the Polycar track that they built, 6-lane. But it might be fun. Oh, the Michigan 24 is in Mike's basement at his home track, not at Cloverleaf. Ah, that's interesting. I did not know that. Thanks, Daryl. So the Michigan 24 will not be like that. Because if Mike's wife is anything like my wife, 50 people showing up to go into our basement, I would be in big, big trouble. Mr. Bacon might be moving to Tacoma. De Leon, we could carpool there. That's great. All right, to the box. I don't need those. So shout out to Greg. Josh had sent me a message months ago and said, hey, some of the guys that do the Michigan 24 down here in Cincinnati are ordering the new white kits from Scale Auto, their new Porsche, and would I want one? I'm like, yeah, sure. Just let me know what I need to do. And it took a while to get, I think, for it to come in, but I wanted a running mate to the SRC Toyota LMP that I had. And so today the box came, and here's what we're looking at. So the Scale Auto Toyota. They put their pants on one leg at a time. This is true. But Steve, some of those guys are really stinking fast. And some of us are not so fast. We don't have quite the experience that some of those other guys do have. But it would be fun. Ever think of painting your track? Greg, great question. I actually have already painted some of my track on the far end. One of the turns, the Rob Snyder Memorial turn, is painted with the blue and white stripes. So the berm. So yeah, I have painted it, but completely painted it, I would want to do a lot of research to get the right, because if I'm going to paint my track, it's going to be to add grip, right? So I would want to figure out exactly what is the best paint to put on the track to create grip, because then I'm not going to paint it and it makes it have less grip. That would be my fear. So a lot of testing would have to go on. So here we go. This is the Scale Auto. This is my first Scale Auto. This is a white kit of the 963 GTP, the Porsche 963. So let's open it up, shall we? Take a look at what we've got. Does anybody in the chat have this car already? I could give this car away. And just not open it. I could still give it away, I guess, because I'm getting kind of close to a big number, and I was trying to decide exactly what I want to do, but I don't think that's what I want to do. I think I want to do something different. But then he also included Greg. Shout out to Greg. He included the Lexan interior. So I guess these cars. I must be prepping this for the Michigan 24. So here's what you get in the kit. You get your windshields, all your glass, some instructions. Oh, got it. It comes with an interior, but the Lexan is the racing interior. That's cool. Okay, so the difference between the SRC, which is this car, which is a great car, fantastic. Ran some laps with it last night, just because I haven't lapped it in a while, and I knew this was coming. So But the advantage that this is already put together. It truly is, here's the car, here's the body, paint it, slap the body on it, tune it, and you're ready to go. So, but I have thought about painting my track. I'm jumping all over the place. But let's see here. Raul, yes, about time that I got my first scale auto. This one's been ordered for a while. But man, so does anybody have this car in the chat? Hey Reese, welcome. I got a couple of those white kits. Just got them into paint. Jeff G, awesome. I'm curious to know if anybody's ran them, because Greg gave me some feedback about this car last night in the conversation when he said, or 2 nights ago, when he said that the package was on its way. Hey, Swift Slots, welcome. Glad you're here. Raul, glad you're here. Jeremy, I want the SRC Toyota. Yes, you do. It's a fast car. It handles great. It's fun to drive. And it was a fun white kit. But I've heard like amazing things about this. So I'm really excited about putting this thing on the track. So it has a 22.5 motor at 12 volts. And it's a long cam. It's not a super aggressive sidewinder, but it is a angle winder. The chassis looks really nice. The guide is the standard Scale Auto guides, which I've used on quite a few cars, mainly because they're inexpensive, and you get like a 2-pack for a couple bucks. And they do really well on the Carrera. They're short. They're not real long guides, but they're tall, so they do well on the plastic track. With the wheel inserts, this will be a good looking car. But I'm really curious to see how it performs. But yeah, the SRC Toyota is nice, and so this will be the running mate. So I can run these against each other. How they compare. The wheelbase slightly, just a hair longer, probably a 1/4 inch longer wheelbase. But I know that's not really what matters. It's that triangle from the pivot to the rear wheels, and I would say that they're identical when it comes to that. So, and then from a stance standpoint, pretty much the Scale Auto is just a hair. Nope, they have the exact same stance. So width-wise, they're the same. So for those of you who have the Toyota now, you know what the Scale Auto. How many of you are Scale Auto fans? Yeah, Gary, I think it is. It's pretty nice. Let's see here. 3 being Dan, 51%. What did I miss? Chris Freder, no Scale Autos in your collection. This is the first one I've purchased. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited about it. But I could just box it back up and give it away before I do anything with it. Let somebody else enjoy it. So, I don't know. We'll have to think about that. But pretty cool car. I think it'll look great on the track. The pictures I've seen online. But Greg talked about its performance, that they felt like it was a contender for the class. They wanted to be able to run an LMP car. But the LMP cars just struggle to keep up with some of the other cars that they run on the Michigan 24. But they felt like this one was maybe the one that could do it. So it'd be interesting to see it on the track and see how it goes. Those are really cool kits. Not quite scratch build, but nice. Yeah, Slot Car Daddy. Yeah, the fact that it's the chassis and everything is already put together for you. The white kit piece is just basically painting and putting the body together. And, I don't even think it comes with decals or anything. I didn't see any. So that was the one thing about the Toyota, the SRC. You got a decal kit. You get the white kit, and you had to build the car. And so that was part of the fun of just constructing the car from the ground up. But 10 minutes, I could probably have this car on the track running laps if I wanted to. No LMPs, but I have a handful of scale autos. Yeah, there's a handful. There's a couple of cool. The NSXs look good from Scale Auto. It might be fun to pick up one of those. So yeah, they make some cars that I'd be interested in. They're just always down on the list for me. I always have a handful of other cars that are more pressing to purchase. Like I kept putting the Fat Turbo off, and I finally bought it. I really need to pick up a Group 2 Revo slot. I just can't make my mind up on which one I want. So maybe in the next week or so, I'll get one of those ordered. But yeah, looks like a cool kit. Should be a cool car. Primer first with a Rust-Oleum primer, and then hit it with some paint. Thanks, George. Jeff G, yes, the car is very, very fast. Very fast. Yeah, that's what I hear. Josh, I ran one of Greg's, and wow, it's a runner straight out of the box. For our 3-hour endurance race we do at Butch's, it's probably the best car you can buy. Put a decent set of tires on it and go run. Yeah, Josh, that's pretty much what Greg said, that it didn't take a whole lot to make that car go fast. I just need to figure out what size super tires I need for it. I think Dennis Sampson spoke about what kind of paint to use when paint a track on one of the videos. Maybe he spoke about it during the DNA video interview. Rob, I think you're right. I think he did mention like the cheaper the latex paint, the better. But I can't remember. I need to go back and watch that again. So yeah. But I don't do scenery or a lot of scenery, just signage. So I'm having fun trying to decide how to paint some of the corners, and really all I'm painting is the curbing, and just to create some unique looks. But if I was going to repaint the whole thing, it would be about painting it for traction. So where can I find Carrera replacement spur gears? Johnny Pro. That's the problem. Carrera does not have a lot of parts available for their cars. Check Cincy Slots. Bruce buys a lot of collections, and with those come a lot of parts. So you might be able to find some of the Carrera parts that you're looking for. But you may have to convert the rear axle to slot it or something to fix them, because sometimes it's hard to find parts for the Carrera stuff. Mad P is in the house. What's up? I also run Scale Auto guides in all of my cars that I'm allowed to. Yeah, Daryl, you're the one that got me hooked on the Scale Auto guides. They do a great job. Rust-Oleum American Accent works good for grip. It's like a stone texture. I have some on my corners. That's cool. Thanks, Tad. Marty, if you want a decal set for the 963 decal, Doc has 4 or 5 different options. Decal Doc. Okay. Thanks, Jeff. I'll go check those out. Yeah, LEB does have some Carrera parts too. But it seems like they're not really releasing a lot of parts for the new cars coming out over the last couple years. that they're just not. I think it's a hard business to be in, parts business, which is why I really like Slotted. You can usually find extra parts. NSR makes extra wings and window kits. So some of those companies do make parts for their cars to sell aftermarket or, for repairs and things. But Carrera, Skillectrics, I think they've kind of taken the stance of we might be throwaway cars. We might be disposables. Take it easy, DNA. Thanks, man. Glad you were able to hang out. Yep, Carrera does not supply many parts. The 919 is considered an LMP. Is the 963 also LMP, or is it a GTP hypercar? Rob, it is labeled a GTP hypercar. But I think that's kind of like semantics, right? I think that it would probably qualify for an LMP class. It looks like an LMP car. Like I don't know. I'm not sure. But maybe there would be people that would be upset and not allow it, especially if it's fast. That's usually what happens. If your car's way too fast, then they outlaw you. Like the Elva. You can run any Thunder slot except for the Elva in this vintage class. So that happens a lot. Johnny Pro, upgrade to the slot invasion rear axle kit. Yeah, Kirby, that's a great idea. Slot invasion does make, they list it as a DTM, but I believe that it fits quite a few more cars. It comes with wheels. It comes with a set of urethane tires for those wheels. And it comes with a spur gear, bearings. So yeah, that's actually a great hop-up kit. I picked one up. I'll take the 963. I'm a big Porsche fan. Michael, nice. Yeah. My poor cars are sold. Where do you get those slotted blocks that your cars are sitting on? So, Hex Boy. This is from Slot Car Corner. It's dirty. Let me see if I can get it to focus. This is the first setup block I bought. You flip it over, and I believe that's for wood track. I've never really set up a car for wood track, to be honest with you. So, but I think that's what that's for. So you can get this at Slot Car Corner. It's about $15 or $16. And then at Cincy Slots, you can pick one of these up, which is basically a piece of Corian countertop that has been cut on both sides to accommodate wood track guide, and it makes a great setup block as well. And I don't know, they're like $6 or $8, I think, from Cincy Slots. I've seen them there. I've seen them at a handful of other places. So, but yeah, that's what I use. And it's one of the first tools you should buy when starting to tune slot cars, because when you're setting up front ends, you need a good flat surface. Now, I would recommend they make Lexan ones that are clear, and those are very helpful when setting up your ride height on their car, because you can actually see if the tires are touching the Lexan or not from the bottom. So I've got one of those laying around someplace, or maybe Dusty's got it. Yeah, Dusty has one. And that came from Daryl. Daryl's like, you guys need another set of block, that one you can see through. So we threw that in Dusty's box, and so yeah, they're really handy. So Hex Boy, that's what those slotted boxes are, blocks are. Dave from Slot R, he had a machinist machine some for him specifically, that he had a grid put on them so that he could line up cars, and I could see, like, to make sure that they were lined up properly, and the axles were aligned, and it looks like a great setup block. And so he had a few of those made just for himself. So you got some options out there. Let's see here. I have the 124 Viper Is that the Scale Auto? I like Scale Auto. I have a Viper and the Porsche 935. Nice. Oh, let's see. Did I miss anything? Don't forget, if you have a question, you can throw a Q in it and it stands out. And plus, I can search for questions easier that way. So they don't try not to miss questions. But dang, it's 8:52. Marty, what slot manufacturers make a great car with awesome quality parts right out of the box? Tom, you may have asked this question in one of my videos in the comments, and I'll give you the same answer. And we've talked a lot about this with this group, so there's a lot of knowledge right here in the live chat that can answer that question. And if I scroll down, somebody probably already has. Let's see here. So, right out of the box, I think my experience, right out of the box, Thunder Slot is probably my number one car right out of the box. NSR, Slot It. What other brands do I have? MR Slot Car. Those are all really good out of the box. Now, it depends. Sometimes you'll get a car that comes out of the box and it just needs a lot of adjustment. So sometimes it just doesn't matter. Revo slots have really good luck with those right out of the box. I basically took my Ferrari. So I'm talking about Revo slots. My Ferrari 333, I took that out of the box. I lubed it and threw it on the track at Bruce's 4-lane home track. And I finished 6th in that race out of, 14 or 15 guys. Was probably my best finish that I've had in a race. And that I didn't do anything other than put silicone tires on it and lube the chassis, or lube the car, the gears, and make sure that the front wheels are spinning, because you can't adjust the Revo slot front ends, the ride height. You can by adjusting the guide, but yeah, that was really all I did. That car was super competitive. I picked up this Revo slot, and this one took a little bit more tuning to get it to go around the track. And it's not quite as fast as my 333. So that's Revo slots. I've had really good luck. My first slotted, where'd it go? This was my first slotted car, the GT40, and I have videos out there of how bad that car was up front. It was super fast, but it just would not stay in the slot. And I had to tune and try new things and make adjustments, and then it got really, really good and fast. So I think that it's maybe a little hit and miss, depending on the type of car. But I think that you're really good out of the box. Thunder Slot, NSR, Slot It, Revo Slot. I'm hearing Scale Auto. I don't have any experience with Scale Auto, but we'll find that out. Fly cars. I have a love affair with fly cars because the detail. I love these cars. They are not great out of the box unless you leave the magnet in and run them with magnets, and you're happy there. Then they'll do okay. But that's just yeah. But you can even spend money, I'm sure, on a Thunder Slot and NSR, and it might take a little bit of tuning to get it to run its best laps. You're always going to, truing tires. It depends on what level you're expecting that car to perform. If you're going to show up for the USA Nationals, then that's a whole nother level of tuning that most of the people in the live stream are not tuning to that level to take a car and throw on the track and be super competitive. So hopefully, Tom, that helps. And there's lots of other stuff here in the NSR Thunderslot Scale Auto. Yeah, people are saying the same thing. Revo slots are awesome with great quality build. Yeah, I agree. I love the Revo slot stuff. They're not quite as fast as the Thunderslot and the NSRs. I'm just not able to get as much speed out of them as I can those other cars. But man, they are fun to drive, and they are quality components. That aluminum chassis is I love it. It's just such a great looking car. So really pleased with those. Let's see. I'm not sure super tires yet, as I don't have my second one that I'll use for club racing. Waiting on a painted one for that. Gotcha. Yeah, so I don't know what super tires will fit that. I might be able to find some off of something. What else do we have? Dennis Sampson recommended UMA on the Worldwide Slot Car Chat as the best for grip. That's cool. Yeah, I think old Dennis has a lot of knowledge. Not a lot of slot car knowledge. Some of his custom stuff that he's made looked awesome. I was really impressed. Patrick Harper. I'm sorry, Conquest Revo. What? Dude, like, I've burnt a bridge with Revo slot without even realizing it. When somebody shows up with a Revo Sluts t-shirt on at a race, I'm in big trouble. Big trouble. Dang it. For paint, cheap contractor paint has the most latex in it and not the other additives they put in the better paints. I work at Lowe's in the paint area. Tom, nice. So that's what we're wanting, some cheap contractor paint. My biggest thing is, like, what color do you paint your track? Do you go gray with concrete? I don't know that I love the look of that. I think I would still probably want to go black. And so do you. Yeah, and I don't know. Can I buy a Val? MP's in the house? What? Hey, Massimo. Welcome, man. Let's see. I'm catching up, guys. Time to add more Revo slot Mercs to my collection soon. My plan, I need to pick up a Group 2. It was Marty's word. You're right. It was all on me. Hypercar is the new LMP class. Yeah, that's what I thought too. They will run in both classes 2024. Beating the Revo slot drum, you won't beat the quality for the price. Nope, I agree. You're not at that price. You're buying a quality slot car. Let's see here. Those Revo slots are really nice looking cars. Only got the one myself. Yeah, Patrick. You kind of get addicted to them. They're fun. We've really enjoyed them. I made acrylic setup blocks. Yeah, that's cool. Greg, I've got 3 Revo slots, and they are my favorite cars to drive. Greg, the one thing I do like about them is because they're weighty, they're a little heavy. You can kind of throw them around the turns. I tend to be a person that overdrives a car. Maybe one day I'll learn, but I do overdrive a little bit into a turn. I brake late, or maybe I just don't have my brakes set up where they need to be on the controller. And the Revo slots will handle that. I feel like they do a good job of handling that type of driving. So that's what I really like about them. Oh, let's see. Q question. Is there a good video out on YouTube land about using a setup block? Show me slot cars. I think a lot of us have touched on it and showed how to set up the front end of a car on a setup block. I think Dave Slot R, his video, when he talks about the setup block, he talks a little bit about the use of one. I mean, there's lots of uses for it. But really, it's a setup block for a reason, because you're trying to set up that front end and the ride height of the nose. Okay, so you might look at some of those older tuning videos. George, Area 51, has a lot of tuning videos. Harry, Wise, Home Racing World, a lot of tuning videos, and a lot of times they'll touch on it. But one specific for the setup block, I don't know, I need to write that down on my list of one of my to-do videos when I'm struggling to find content to create. Maybe I'll work on that. So thanks, Patrick. Hexboy, NSR is one of my favorites. Yeah, they make some great cars. Yep, Patrick, Area 51 has one. Good job, guys. Show me all the tuning videos should have the setup block explanations for setting front axle height. Yep. Yeah, Home Racing World has a great one too. Just picked up the NSX GT3 Scale Auto. Nice car out of the box. Magnet out and run. That's cool, Jeff. I mean, now you're getting me excited about this car. I haven't even thought about the paint aspect of it yet. I may have to run some laps before I even put paint on it. So we'll see. Let's see here. NSX is a mover. Patrick, we all have a self-imposed no buying until somebody releases a new car. Like Slotted is going to release that stinking Datsun 510. I mean, who's not going to want to buy that car? Which tells you that they're going to be doing some of the others, just like Revo Slot for that Group 2, the small cars, which I think is great. So maybe you'll be able to run those in a class together, Slotted and Revo Slots. I guess it just depends on how fast they are. You can add shims to the Revo Slots to lower the front if you like. Yeah, shims to the guide. That's the way you have to adjust that front end. Vin, haven't bought a Revo in a while. Are they still noisy? Yes, but there are some things that you can do to quiet them down. I think you'd be pretty happy with how mine sound going around the track. But they do have a little bit of noise. It's that aluminum chassis. But I do some things to dampen that, and it really does help. So they're not as noisy as my Ninko. That thing sets the record. Just turn up the music when you're driving. Jamie, I think all Revo Slots are noisy. So they are, but man, I don't know. Hold on. Course. I don't know, guys. That didn't seem too noisy to me. Did not seem too noisy. That car is pretty smooth and quiet. But I took the chassis apart. I put Gorilla Tape and created like little O-rings or little washers out of Gorilla Tape on the chassis, and then put it back together with some thread lock, and it really quiets it down. Now, it does limit some of the movement. It dampens that sound and the movement of the chassis, so which is probably why it's not quite as fast as it maybe could be. But I was going to say they stay in the slot until right there. So, but I was on camera. That always happens. Some Revos are noisy, some are not. Half the fun is tune them to quiet them down. Yeah, Jamie, I'd agree. Vin, they've gotten better, but there are tuning tricks you can do also. Yeah. Easy, George. Oh, Tom, don't worry about that, man. I'm happy to answer that question. Not very many people probably saw that question on the video, so I'm glad you brought it back up here on the live stream where more people can jump in and give their opinion, because my opinion is my opinion. I'm not a pro, so there are other opinions out there that are probably better than mine. So I don't mind. I don't mind that at all. The nice thing about Revo slots is they're consistent. The bad is different parts than everyone else. Yeah, Michael, I think you're right. I think that they are very consistent from car to car. And I think that you run into how heavy is the body, what's the total weight, and that's really the differences. And so really from model to model is where that changes. Performance-wise, I think they're all really close. The 333s, they used to outlaw those in the Revo slot class at Cincy Slots, but they've since relinquished that and then let them run. And then they changed it this year. It's going to be GT only, Revo Slot GT. And then they created another class, Revo Slot Group 2, which is why I need to get a Group 2 car. But that's not really till spring, so till March, I think. Glad you said it, George. That's right. Another shirt I'd rock. That's funny. Revo Slot Toyota GT1 number 50 is the only one I got, and I chipped it. Patrick, I want to create a digital class here. I would like to take the Group 2 cars and chip them and make them digital cars, and I think it would be fun to do pit stops and fueling and lane changing with all of those, because I think that they all will probably be very, very close performance-wise. And so I think that would make a fun class for digital, because they already have the hole for the chip. So installing a chip in a Revo slot is really easy. What are some great tools to buy when you get started? Tom, last week's, not this past Monday, not yesterday, but the week before, Raul's stream, Conquest, we talked about tools for about 45 minutes. I would recommend going and watching that live stream, and we talk about all the tools. But yes, you need a good set of hex, a good set of small screwdrivers. You need a 0.9 hex. You need a 1.5 and a 1.3. So those are good to have. Flathead and Phillips. But if you get a Thunder slot, you need a what is this? What size is this? That's like a 1. You need a T6 Torex for Thunder slot cars, because their screws are different. A setup block, different types of glues, different types of lube. This is a synthetic for your bearings and bushings. You need this is braid cleaner, juice, they call it. So those are your basics. A set of calipers come in very handy, just for measuring things. And then if you get a tire truer, then you can make sure you're truing your tires evenly. So that's a quick rundown of tools. I have the Ferrari Momo livery. Max Pappas drove it. It's fast. Yeah, that's a great looking car too. That was a tough livery to find. They were the Momo stuff is very popular. Patrick, Thunder slots, George. I can't get mine to tune. Patrick, what Thunder slot do you have? We have some guys that are really good at tuning in this live chat. We probably can figure out what's going on with that Thunder slot, because I'm telling you, my Thunder slots are my fastest cars that I own. They are quick. Yep. Dusty, his Thunder slot is his fastest car. They are very squirrely. Okay, Patrick. Patrick, send me a message offline. I'm happy to help you work on that. It might be where you have your weight placed, or if you added weight, where did you put the weight? It could be you're just not getting any traction. So what are you doing with the tires? There's a few things, but I mean, most of the time the Thunder slots don't take a lot out of the box to make them fast. Let's see. Shining Stick slot car. Marty, I lived in Morrow, Ohio for 15 years. Recently moved back to hometown in Florida to be close to family. That's cool. Yeah, you're not too far in Morrow. Ohio's not that big. So welcome, Shining Sticks. Where are you in Florida now? A Thunderslot Lola T70 Spider hold my non-mag track record. Really? So that's funny that the T70 is the one that people tend to feel is slower than the M6As, the McLarens, and the Elvas. But I love the T70 Spider. I think it's a great looking car. Are more people starting to lean towards analog racing rather than digital? Whitman FT. So I don't think so. I think that the transition happens. A lot of people getting into the hobby now are getting into digital because the ability to run more than 2 cars at once, up to 6 cars at a time, allows more people to have fun together. Lane changing is fun, and it's pretty accessible here in the U.S. Carrera does a good job of importing their goods here, and track is pretty easy to get. So I think there's a lot of people that are doing digital. That's where we started, had fun, didn't even have a desire to run analog until you pick up your first analog car. Mine was the GT40 slotted. Fell in love with that. The guys show up to race, and I've got it screaming around the track, and they're like, oh, we need to buy a fast car like that too. And then we got into NSR, we got into Thunder Slot, we got into Revo Slot, we got into all these other brands, and they're all analog. And so then we start exploring for the Tech Slot box, which allowed us to run digital and flip the switch and run analog. And so I think that's a combination. I don't think people are regressing to analog. I think that we race them different. Digital, you've got a lot of people, kind of more of like a party atmosphere. I feel like digital is. It's a bit chaotic. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of crazy. And it's one of those things like fast guys are always going to be fast. But the chaos of digital sort of evens the field out a little bit. And then the analog piece is probably a little more serious when you go to the racing side. But what happens is when you start in Carrera digital and you creep out into some analog cars, you get tired of paying for chips to chip them to run on your digital track. So that's kind of the progression. We talk about this a lot in live streams, digital versus analog. I'm both. I've been racing a lot of analog over the last probably year. But we still like to run digital. I just find that my digital cars, they're kind of beat up, and running analog, it's not so hard on the hardware. It's not so hard on the cars. Yes, it's always been the standard for pro racing. It's always been the standard. That's where it started. Digital's just kind of been around for the last 20 years, maybe. I think late 90s. Some of the first digital sets from the major manufacturers started coming out. But let's see. Excited to see the new Revo Slot Vets. Yeah, those should be coming out soon. Dusty, you are all from Morrow. Yeah. I have one of each when it comes to Revo. Yeah, Eric, they're fun cars. They're great. They hold up well too. Bring some cars. Nothing can be driven deeper into the corner and still come out the other side than a Revo slot. I would completely agree. And it's something that the first time I raced it, I realized it's like, oh, this fits my driving style because I'm famous for overdriving into the turn. And so it's a problem. I'm working on it. But yeah, I agree. That's a great point. I need one for brass building. You need one what? A setup block? Jeremy is getting ready to jump into some scratch build. I like it. So yeah, me too. I'm really jonesing to get in on that stuff. Let's see here. Our 24 hours might give a Revo a run for their money in the corners. Bud Slots. Hey Greg, welcome in. I was talking about the car. It is sweet. I can't wait to get it. I didn't realize it was already put together, except for the body. That's exciting. So I can have it on the track pretty quick without painting it. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I'm not sure the Revo, although like the Revo is built for an endurance race. It just probably doesn't have the speed that it needs. But we talk about like swapping out motors for different cars all the time, and trying to decide what the best motor is to run for the Michigan 24 and endurance races and things like that. I never hear people talk about changing out the motor in a Revo slot. So, I mean, that is one thing. I mean, they come with a 21K motor at 12 volts. So, like if you put a 22.5, 23K, 25K motor in it, how much does it change the performance? Does it make it even harder to handle because they are heavier? That might be worth making a video. I've got a 22.5 bearing motor. I could throw in there and do some testing and see. So Bud Slots, yeah. I'm not sure the Revos could keep up with. I've driven one of your. I've destroyed one of your cars. That car was fast. It was the fastest car I've ever driven, I think. On that track, it was crazy. I don't know. The Elva, the gold or the black Elva that Daryl had was pretty fast on that track too. Anyway, give it a try tomorrow. Okay. I'm not sure what Chris was referring to. Good night, Chris. Thanks for hanging out, man. Yeah, Patrick. I'm behind on the chat. I'm sorry, guys. Patrick, they announced Slot announced the 510, the Datsun 510, and then this week, yesterday, Revo Slot. The rumor is that they have a 510 Datsun 510 coming out, which would be great for the Group 2 class. It fits right in. Gary, how many cars do I have? A lot. Is that fair to say? I'm probably up over 50 now. So that seems like a lot. Actually, digital is what got you into the hobby this past year. Haven't got to the analog aspect of it yet. And Whitman, don't be in a hurry. Like, enjoy the digital. That's what it is. Fun. Like, I love Smart Race app. I am a gigantic fan of that app. It definitely makes the digital experience even more so. I have a men's group that I lead for Monday Night Football at church. And a bunch of those guys want to come over one night and watch the game here and play on the track. And I'm like, that's fine, but we can't watch the game because I need the TV to put Smart Race up on the wall. You'll want to know what kind of laps and who's in first, right? So, but they're all dying to get over here to run on the track. So, and they will be running digital. I won't even attempt to try to run analog with those guys. We'll put 6 cars on the track and we'll have fun. So, let's see here. Road America Northwest on YouTube for videos of our races. Oh, Michael, cool. I'll check it out. But yeah, don't be in a hurry to get rid of digital. No reason to get rid of it. There's great reasons to be able to do both, which is why I built the box that I can flip the switch and go from digital to analog and use my analog controllers. But there's more things coming with that. Not my box, but there's more. There's going to be other things coming down the road from people that I think there's going to be cool stuff. Let's see, even louder bouncing around on its top. This is true. Yes, that must have been while I was on the track. Guys, sometimes at Lowe's, they might have a damaged countertop, Corian countertop for test blocks. You could make a ton of them. I think that's what's happened. Yeah, that's how I got this one. Riva slots require a good gear mesh to get them quiet, and you can adjust that right on the chassis. Drove past Kings Island every day. I was in Mason last week for a couple of days. I went to a Reds game, and then we went to the tennis tournament in Mason. It was a good time. Let's see here. Where we got? In lieu of tape, try grease. John, that's what I did on this one, and grease worked. That was your recommendation, I think, actually. So I'm catching up. But yeah, instead of tape, I used grease, which was a little easier. Didn't have to take it apart. John Hall, till you find them all over the track. What is that? Quarter turn never disappoints. So Patrick, yeah. So if you do adjust the Riva slot chassis, you have to either use like some super glue or some thread lock, some light thread lock, some fingernail polish, something to glue those brass nuts on, so that they don't move on you when you don't find them all over your track. Dusty keeps telling me a little grease helps the tires too. Yeah, right. That's funny. Let's see here. Use the slotted chip. They're smaller. Patrick, yeah, the slotted chip is great. I use the Slot Technic. It's tiny. It's a great chip. Yeah, they're easy to put in about anything. I chip my Viper and Supra Revos. Ooh, Johnny Pro. I do like the Supra Revo. That might be a good car for the GT class. Let's see. Actually, as a treatment for rubber tires, it works as long as you can clean it away with naphtha. Marty, question. I think that they are. I think they really like your schematic shirt. We'll have to get with Raul. I'll send him my non-schematic, and that's pretty funny. Those guys are just Gary. Those guys are just giving me a hard time. As you can imagine, I got a little bit of grief about the videos about the box, and it was no harm. I got it. I understood, but my intent was not to upset anybody. But making a shirt about it might. A set of calipers as you can measure things accurately. Yep, Patrick. Braid juice. Yeah, Patrick. Braid juice. This is braid and commutator, like comm drops. Sometimes it's called. I remember using them when I raced RC a long time ago. But basically, it sort of cleans your braids, just so you get a good electrical contact. The pit stop event, however you use it, certainly adds a great aspect to the racing experience. Yeah, I agree. That's what makes it fun to me. The digital piece is there's some other strategy involved. Not only do you have to be fast, not only do you have to stay in the slot, but you also have to time your pit stops and how much gas do you get? Do you go full tank, or do you there's some fun stuff. WD-40 is great braid juice. I've never used it, but it's good to know. Yeah, Chris, WD-40. Welcome, Chris. Thanks for commenting. But yeah, WD-40 does everything. It is one of those wonder lubricants that yeah, it does just about anything. Gets gum out of hair. Like, what else do you need to do? WD-40 probably does it. The Slick 7 Voodoo. Is that what I have? Yep. That's what I have. That's good stuff. Daniel Thomas, welcome. Rail Zip is good for braid treatment too. I needed to order that. That's what I needed to order. Rail Zip, because I need to polish my rails real good. I noticed that my braids are getting really dirty, and that's because I've got a lot of dirt accumulation on my braids, I think. So I need to do that this week. Let's see here. Like analog, I don't have a chip. I don't have to chip nothing. Digital also allows ghost cars. Yeah, Michael, that was one of the fun things when I was down here by myself. You just throw a ghost car and it gives you something to pass. And usually I put a lot of magnet in my ghost car so I can run it pretty good and it'll stick in the turns. Sometimes I've got one car that I run as a ghost car and I can't beat it with another Carrera car, with a no mag car and that car being magnet. I can't keep up with it. After leaving Morrow, moved hometown, Pensacola, Destin. I fly back to Cincinnati a couple times a year. Gotcha. That's cool. Yeah, Johnny Pro, the pit stops alone make digital so much fun. I agree. Always make sure I visit Bruce at Cincy Slots. That's cool. Yeah. I did not make it. I planned to swing by, and I just didn't make it there when I was down there for a couple days. My wife was not interested in going to the slot car store. I ended up going to antique stores instead. Go figure. Let's see here. What else? If you have digital and then you add analog, it opens up your choices for cars. That's a great, yeah. Greg, that's exactly why people do it. It's the best of both worlds. Yep, Daryl is exactly right. Digital is more of a spec class. Yep, with the digital cars, you can't do a whole lot to them, just so that they stay fairly even. And the analog is more the tuner class. Frankie Tomatoes, that's why I have the axle box coming. Got to get me some of those sweet analog cars. It just opens up a whole new world of different cars, right? Old cars, new cars. That's what makes it fun. Digital will be best for 99% of people. No hate towards analog, but most people will only buy 1 to 2 cars a year. Yep, Billy, you're right. We're a special case. Most of us in this chat. Yeah, most of the home tracks that are just for fun, digital is perfect for them. And like you said, they'll only buy 1 or 2 cars, and they'll buy a new car because they think they wore out the old one because they don't know how to work on them. That's what happened to my HO set when I was a kid. We didn't know how to get parts for it. So let's see here. Just about any analog car can be chipped. That's right. Yeah. So you don't have to be able to convert, but it's not as hard to convert digital to analog as you think. Just going to put that out there. It's easy. You can spend some money to do it, or you can save some money to do it. I hope Polycar comes out with a flip of the switch for analog or digital. You would think that would make the most sense. I mean, I think Skelectric's ARC system does that. I think. I've not messed with it. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But I was thinking that they had a switch, that they worked all that out. But I don't know if Polycar plans to do that or not. They've been slow to release their home version of digital. George, do you need club racing? I know the answer to that. George does not do any club racing. He does some scratch build racing on his own home track. Nope, can't chip hot motors. Nope, you'll burn those chips up. They can only draw so much. I know. because that's what's inside your axle box or your tech slot box, is you have 2 Carrera 1/24 scale chips or whatever chip. I'm not sure what the axle box is using. I would probably be using the 1/24 scale FT slot Technic chip. Gosh, words are hard. Yep, you'll fry the control unit. You'll burn up your running hot motors. Case in point, the Honda Civic, the world's fastest Civic. It basically is running a 1/24 scale motor. And it was the guilty party. This hot motor burned up a chip or 2 in my tech slot box. That's what, mainly because that hot motor and a crossed up wire for the power taps did the chip in. So the chip burned up before the CU burned up. And so, but yeah, that's what you have to be careful of. So that's where being able to flip and go full blown analog, you don't have as big a worry. Let's see here. For faster motor replacement and Revo slot, go BRM Motors. They have an entire range. It's good to know, John. That's what is in that Civic. Sunday, we are analog only this week. Alone, I have purchased 1 to 2 cars, maybe more. Big eye. Which analog would you prefer to chip? Hope that is not a loaded question. Which analog would you prefer to chip? There are some brands that make it easier to chip. There are some cars that there's not a lot of room, so you have to really be conscious of the size chip that you're putting in for the car. Like F1 cars, NSR F1 cars would be tough to chip. You'd have to use a really small chip. They're out there, but that might be kind of tough. Revo slots, some slotted chassis, the newer slotted chassis, come pre-drilled for the diode on the bottom. Scalies with the DPR door, you can get the Carson chip. Those are really easy to chip. The Pioneer cars come with that too, in some of their chassis. So, oh, Chris, gotcha. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I would love to see that. Some live footage. Scale Auto 124s are easy to chip. Yeah, I imagine they are. A 124 scale car, you got tons of room. True Speed controller works in analog also. Yeah, Frankie Tomatoes, with the axle box and the tech slot box, you're chipping the lane, not the car. So that means your digital controllers still work. So there you go. Hey, Wild Man is in the house. Eric, I was taking a break, got too overwhelmed. Yeah, man. Take a break when you need to take a break. That's the beauty of this hobby. You can step away when you need to. It's easy to jump right back in. Michael Squire, welcome. Good to have you, Michael. Thanks for jumping on last night. That was fun. Justin Decker, how did you settle on track design? What are your favorite parts of it? Been struggling with this. Justin, earlier in the chat, I posted the link. I'll post it again. It should still be out there. There's a link to my track. My track design. And I knew what size table. I had an idea from sight lines what I wanted to stay away from. I didn't want a bunch of different overpasses or underpasses, and I didn't want to deal with a bunch of tunnels. Where I really went at my layout from the aspect of easy to marshal, great sight lines so that I could add some scenery if I wanted to, and it wouldn't be in the way, it wouldn't interfere. And then I wanted to make room for pretty much borders inside and out all the way around. We were doing a lot of analog. We're moving into the analog realm, and no magnets. So the borders were important, and so that's what I like about the layout. From just about anywhere, it's really easy to see. It's very easy. We have one place that's tough to marshal, and that's the one bridge that I have, because you kind of go into a turn underneath. There's really no way of getting around that, and it's not bad. Most of us have figured that turn out. We don't come out super often unless you get racy with somebody and you're side by side. So what do I love about this this layout? I'll get out of the way and talk. What I love about that layout is that long straight in the back, you can really open up a car. Like even a car that's got a 25K motor, you can get to your top speed before you get to the end of that turn or into that straight. So I love that about it. It allows you just to stretch out a little bit, and it does give you like a second to breathe when you're racing. I love the S's coming back towards the camera. They're just so much fun, and you can gain and lose time, a lot of time there if you don't drive those right. And then from a digital standpoint, I really like that we have to really slow down for this turn right here to get into the pits. So those are some of the things that I love about the track. The little short chute in the front stretch is fun too. And then that big cotter pin turn that comes back towards us, that's a tricky. There's a lot of offs right there, and it's pretty easy to get to. But there's a lot of offs in that turn, because that turn looks like it should be easy, but it shifts your weight hard to the left. And then as soon as you come out of that left all the way around, you kick right, and it really can upset a car if you don't have the car set up right. If you get your front nose, the front end set up really good, you won't have any problems in that turn. But if you don't have your front end set up right, that you might struggle there. So those are the things that I really like about the layout. So Justin, go to that link. You can print that off. That you can manipulate that to fit your table. Do whatever you want with it. You can't mess it up. But that link is to my actual layout that I have set up right now. Sunday Slot Cars, best place to find Carson chips in Canada or import to Canada. Bryce, I think I've ordered them from LEB, Hobby, Slot Car Corner. I don't think that Billy carries them Sunday Slots because he doesn't carry electric cars. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Billy. I don't want to misspeak. I'm all analog. It's simple and old school, but it's cool. The rest can have digital. Michael, here's the thing. Like, digital is fun. It's a little chaotic. It's a different racing experience, and it's not bad. Like, it's even for somebody who would love analog, you could enjoy digital. But digital makes it real easy to create an experience. The software announces the races for you. The pit stops add just another challenge. And there's a whole different strategy that goes in play. And the race times are longer. So, you do like a 14-minute race or 11-minute race instead of a 3.5-minute race like you would analog. Not that you can't race analogs longer, but it just there's some differences that are fun. So, yep, the Carson chip is great for that. Let's see here. Yeah, John Albright, he's an analog guy. He's a scaly. His track is scaly. One reason I like the Polycar 4-lane set is you can race 4 lanes right out of the box. Yeah, Tom, and it comes with borders. Smart, finally. Carrera, in their largest set, has inside and outside borders, and that's the 124 scale track, I believe, set. But Polycar in both of their 4-lane starter kits, you don't get cars, but you do get borders, and I think that's fantastic. That's how they should be sold. Borders are expensive when they start adding up when you try to cover your whole track. Garth, where did you get the Super Tires sign? Garth, I got the Super Tires banner from Super Tires. So, yeah, they sent me the banner. I did a big shout-out to them one time on one of my first live streams, and they just happened to be on and listening. And about a week later, I got this banner in the mail with a thank you, and that was very, very kind. So, yep, we support the Super Tire banner. We also have a Quick Slick banner up. We're equal opportunity tire users, although we are silicone here, so maybe not equal opportunity. But now that we have the tire truer, we could go back to rubber. We just would have to change out when we go to the club to race. So, gosh, it's 9:43. Gary, question. Marty, when will you do race night again? That's a good question. I don't know. It got a good response. I would love to get a few other people involved. So maybe we can get some other special guests. Not that Daryl would be here. Daryl would be here, but Dusty and John Mark, Daryl. It'd be nice to have a couple other people. It'd be nice to have enough people to race, and I can just commentate and run the live stream, and those guys could race, and I could just direct the races. That'd make my life a little less stressful on those nights that we race, and I'm live streaming at the same time. So, but I would say coming soon, maybe in a couple weeks. Let's see here. Show me. Thanks, Kirby. I will try log in my Android tonight. Less goes wrong. Plus, you don't have to chip cars before you can run them. Yeah, that's the biggest problem with digital, which is why I did what I did with the tech slot box. Thanks to George, we run that so we could go from digital to analog super easy. You're welcome, Justin. Happy to help. Yes, and you can build your own cars easily. Yep. Yeah, the analog stuff is good stuff. With that said, I do see the fun in digital, though. It can be a lot of fun. Like I will tell you, when my daughters are home visiting, and my oldest daughter, her husband, and myself, and Dusty and John Mark, and there are like 6 of us on the track all at once with my kids. I mean, there's not much better than that. Just be honest. That's just super fun. And then nobody's waiting around to race. Everybody jumps in and gets to have fun at the same time, and that's worth it. So those are the advantages of digital. Billy preaches that all the time, and Amanda both, about that's the beauty of digital. That Grandpa buys a track because he wants to run with his grandkids, and they can all run together at the same time. So I love digital, but the lane change crashes were too much. Yeah, Robbie, you break up a lot of cars. My Carrera cars look pretty beat up, and the analog cars that I converted to digital, they are destroyed. Here are the 2 that I converted to digital. And this car, I mean, you can see it is a mess. And then this NSR, like that thing barely runs anymore. I mean, it doesn't run near as well as it used to. All of the motor is missing. All that plastic has been broken off because Dusty kept rear-ending me. Yeah, Frankie, that does add an additional things if you want to go there. Yeah, we don't usually use the weather and the tire changes or the damage. It gets frustrating because you'll be leading a race and all of a sudden, Marty had a flat tire. It's like every time when I'm leading a race, it would pick on me. So I know that that's not true, but that's what it felt like. I'm missing some of your comments, guys. I apologize. I'm getting to the questions. Marty, please show where your camera phone is to show everyone how you're tracking your analog lap times. Okay. I can do that. Gosh, let me see. Let me fire up my camera real quick. 9:47. Wow, we've been on late. Sorry, guys. How many are still watching? We're 63. All right, this will be the last thing I do, and then we'll cut everybody loose. How's that? Cam. Okay. So this is to answer Kirby's question, how we're doing this. Let me make sure I've got the right. Virtual cam. There we go. All right, I got the microphone on. I think you should be able to hear me over here. So over there, you can see that that's where I have the Smart Race app on an iPad. And then right here is the timing. It's a little dusty. And it's tied to this pole mainly because of movement. But I found out that you can adjust the sensitivity. And so I could actually put this about anywhere I want. But it is kind of nice to have it this on this back stretch. And so you can see how it works. You have zones. My white lane is lane 1 and lane 2. And basically this is just a motion sensor. So when car 1 comes through, you can see that it counts the lap. If I came back through, I'll wait a few seconds so it doesn't give me an error. And so it just counted a lap for both 1 and 2. I've just got it on a little tripod, got it taped, power, so I can keep it charged. It's running the Smart Race Connect app. So yeah, here I'll show you what it looks like when you launch. Clean this up. Okay. So here's what the app looks like. You'll reconnect. And what the Connect app does is it allows you to see what's going on in other channels like controller 1, controller 2, controller 3. But if you come down here and you hit analog sensor mode, you want it to allow use the webcam, and then there you go. That's what you're set up, lane 1 and lane 2. And you just set up your hot zones, and it's just like a motion sensor on your security camera. So hopefully that helps. Let's go back to default. Maybe. Hold on, guys. So hopefully that helps, Curvy. I think that's what you were asking. And then when you launch it in analog mode, Smart Race app knows that you launched analog mode on the Connect app on another device, and that's what it does. It keeps, it turns it into an analog timer, and it does a really good job. The one thing that it does struggle is it needs to be well lit, because this car will not set off. It's fast and it's dark, and without turning the light on over there, it struggles to lap count that. That's really the only car that I'm having problems with laps counting, and I discovered that it was a lighting issue. I need a little more light right over top of the camera and the lane so that there's enough separation, so enough contrast between the track and the car. So especially dark cars like that. So Curvy, hopefully that gives you what you were after. I'm digital right now, and I'm good. I'm just trying to get the screen to project to a TV. I don't have an Apple TV, but I do have plenty of Chromecast devices laying around. Show me, Patrick, I think that, Yeah, the Apple TV makes it really easy to push the Smart Race app, but you should be able to, any device that you can screen share to, you should be able to do that. So you just mirror that device to the TV. So Chromecast, Roku, you should be able to do it to all of those. So yeah, you guys, maybe your car's too much. Rubbing is racing. Just super clue what breaks off. Oh, I don't baby my cars, Billy. Don't baby my cars. I have no shelf queens. No shelf queens. Professor Motor has only 2 Polycar 4-lane sets left. Professor Motor has them. They are now in stock at Electric Dreams and at 132 as well out west. But Professor Motor is way closer to me. So if I was going to order one, that would be cheaper from a shipping standpoint. So thanks, Tom. That's cool. Show me Chromecast works with it. Yep, Patrick. That's what I thought. Rubber baby buggy bumpers. I hate having a wing graveyard, Billy. So, Wildman, there was a pile of plastic over by the iPad for months. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was all the mirrors and engine parts off of cars. And you're right. It was just like a plastic graveyard. My phone mirror casts. Yeah, that works too. Fire Stick. Patrick, you got your iPhone. Oh, that's funny. You can take the wings off before racing. Yeah. I learned the bumper trick from Johnny Hobby. Yeah, same. I love analog racing, but some of the most fun I've had racing slot cars is when we used to do 124 endurance races. Sitting on the controller for an hour straight is awesome. Jamie, I know Bruce had talked about trying to put together an endurance race. That would be a lot of fun. A long digital race like that. That'd be a good time. Let's see here. Jamie, I would love for you to come race. Josh has been here. Daryl's been here. Bernie's been here. Who else? I think that might be it for the Cincy slot guys. So yeah, we'll definitely put something on the schedule. We'd love to have you up here. I think you would enjoy, since you had your hand in designing this layout, you'd probably enjoy running some laps on it. But yeah, I agree, Dusty. Did our first family digital race with my 10-year-old daughter and wife last night. Daughter won, wife got. Bryce, I saw that. It is a lot of fun. We did a Thanksgiving Day race, and my wife got mad because the whole family ended up downstairs racing and left her and her mom and a couple other people upstairs. So yeah, good times. That's great. Michael, no problem. We're wrapping things up. It's turned out way longer than I expected. I usually like to go like 90 minutes max, and we're hitting the 120-minute tonight. Yeah, that's right, Jamie. They are built like tanks for a reason. They're made for the digital racing. Yep, for sure. That's why I think the Revo slots would do well, is chipping those and running Revo slots for digital, because they've got some weight. They're just a tough car. So I'm thinking about throwing a chip in one of them and go. So, all right, guys, looks like everybody's crashing out. So I'm going to jump off here too. Marty is trying to stream for 24 hours today. Nope, Billy, we're gonna cost. Oh, John Mark, thanks, man. Yeah, don't forget Roast Coffee. I'll reach out to one of you and let you know who won the coffee. It was RW53, man. It was a great chat tonight. I had a lot of fun. I always enjoy our conversations. Sometimes I never know where they're going. George, I hope I didn't disappoint you because I didn't have a great plan, but I think the conversation went great. Roastcoffee.com. Use 2 lines. You get 25% off your first purchase. A lot of you have already purchased coffee, so you've already used your 25% off. So I appreciate that you helping Trent out. I'm not sure how much coffee he's selling through my live stream anymore, but it's all good. And he loves supporting the channel, and I appreciate that from him. So I'll reach out, let you guys know. Reach out to the winner, and we're good to go. So, guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. I may have to put this scale auto together. I still can't decide what I want to do with it. So I'll let you know. Oh, we didn't run the F1. Oh well. Maybe next week. Thanks, guys. Go have some fun racing.